It's the clash of the Titan front row for the second time in 3 races, with Fabio Quartararo and Valentino Rossi ahead of his 350th May. Jack Miller, Maverick Vinales and Johann Zarco go from the second row. Keep an eye on Pol Espargaro and Juan. Conditions of the weekend so far. Everybody has decided to opt for that Michelin soft rim. Will be vital. Will the Ducatis get the whole shot ahead of those 3 Yamahas ahead of them? We're about to find out here in Barcelona.
But who's going to be hot to trot in the MotoGP race? The nerves jangling now. He made his Premier Class debut in South Africa. 2000 Valentino Rossi, and still not out.
And the first of his 199 Premier Class podiums came that same year, 2000, the Spanish Championship. Only 20 points down on series leader Andrea Dovizioso. He'd love to make it a second.
Brad Binder going through turn 5 there. We know how strong he is on a Sunday.
They'll be hoping that they're not held for too long on the grid, because the temperature will drop out of those tyres very, very quickly. 1 year ago, down went Valentino Rossi, down went Andrea Dovizioso, so did Maverick Vinales. Right here, turn 10 on those early.
Ahead of us, there's the virtual fan wall, fans from 28 different countries. You all, the fans watching from home in various different languages as well. I've got genuinely no idea.
And the weather's just thrown such a curveball as well. Jack Miller, a big stoppie on the grid. Morbidelli doing the same. The start is going to be absolutely critical here. It's a long, long drag through that first corner. Launch off the lights.
The Monster Energy Grand Prix of Catalunya is ready to go. Eyes to the lightning. Start from Franco Morbidelli on the Yamaha. He's going to lead, is he, into turn 1? He will.
Got away very, very well. Now problems for Rossi.
Who's that?
Zarco's gone down and he's taken out Dovizioso. Championship lead at the first corner.
Can you believe MotoGP in 2020? He's furious with
Ducati. Andrea Dovizioso down and out at the second corner.
Here comes Rossi up the inside of Jack Miller. Miller left through here. Miller third, then Quartararo, then Juan Mir. Alex Rins has got up to 6th.
That's a massive blunder. What a howler by Zarco.
Incredible, isn't it? The championship bone. Valentino Rossi into 10.
Well, there was a T-bone here last year, wasn't there, involving Jorge Lorenzo. Rossi, look at that. 3 Ducatis were mired in that incident at turn 2. We need to find out exactly who instigated it. The 2020 MotoGP World Championship battle, and the 3 Yamahas have got exactly where they want to be. They're at the front of this Grand Prix at the end of...
Well, not many people saw that one coming, but the Suzuki's, Matt. What a start. Pol Espargaro goes through and Alex Rins, he made up.
Vinales, 15th. Absolute disaster for him on lap 1.
Rossi's closing a bit here on Morbidelli. Likewise, Aleix Espargaro on the Aprilia. He's up into 10th place.
So Franco Morbidelli, sensational start of the line. He could not have made that any better. Petrucci up the inside of Alex Rins into turn 5. It's Petrucci. Petrucci lost control of his Ducati,
and it made Zarco check.
Yeah, it was Petrucci. So it was actually a chain reaction caused there by Petrucci, which inadvertently...
Miller, Mir, Pol Espargaro, Rins there, who's got back through on Danilo Petrucci. Bagnaia then just...
So obviously, because he was blinded by Zarco, he would not have seen Zarco reacting to Petrucci, and that's why Dovizioso was... Oh, but quite clearly there from the replays, it was actually Petrucci's incident that triggered the whole thing. Fast failed pursuit, wasn't it, by Rossi and Morbidelli in Misano 1. Morbidelli did not crack under the pressure. Lap 2, 16th.
Yeah, terrible. He got just a terrible start, Matt. I mean, even before they got into turn 1, I think he'd lost. Helps him a lot. There is Jack Miller then, number 43. Just up ahead. He's made up 3 places.
Yeah, and crucially, he got himself out of trouble in that first lap incident, though, and then Dovizioso taken out. Nothing that Dovizioso could do. Second year in a row that Andrea Dovizioso has been...
Well, you'll be able to see from who's cheering as to whether or not they're happy with the start of this race. Then that leads from Rossi, of course. Rossi had a good long look at Franco Morbidelli this morning in warm-up.
The incident with Zarco in Austria, I mean, his DNFs this year have not been his fault.
Dovi straight up to the garage. Any cameras at the moment. Fastest lap of the race, Fabio Quartararo. Not seen him. Valentino Rossi.
Dovizioso must have had a sensational start, though. He started 17th. I mean, he was out after the mistake initially by Petrucci. Again, apologies to Johann Zarco, because we called it, or I called it, what had happened in front of Johann Zarco.
There is Johann Zarco situation.
Chain reaction, wasn't it?
Out front, Quartararo closes another 10th in on Valentino, still Mir in 5th. Polisbarger on the KTM is in 6th, ahead of Rins, Petrucci, Bagnaia, Oliveira and
Joan Mir again, 1.2 seconds, and here's Maverick Vinales at the moment behind a freight train. He's just
bogged it there, and then starts to lose ground because he's got some absolute weapons along him as well going through. Petrucci,
Zarco missed the start as well,
and there's Alex Marquez. He's lost, how many places has he lost on?
Not know all the chaos and carnage that unfolded behind him after he had that twitch coming through turn 2 on
3 on the Pramac Ducati at 40.2, only a couple of tenths off Jorge Lorenzo's lap record when he went to Quartararo, right now on the tail of Valentino Rossi.
Yeah, Mir at the moment has not been able to get
through turns 7 and 8, uphill now to turn 9, looking back at Quartararo, still the gap to Morbidelli.
World Championship leader by the looks of it at the end of this Barcelona Grand Prix, this top 5.
Yeah, no problem with lap times at this stage, Matt, but in about 5-6 laps time, that's when we suspect you'll start seeing a drop in tyre life. Onto the heli, Rossi, Quartararo. Here comes Quartararo, he's in the slipstream now with Valentino Rossi. Quartararo then up to 2nd.
How many times has Valentino Rossi made that move on his rivals down into turn 1?
Quartararo then next in his sights, his teammate Franco Morbidelli. Shining Franco.
Vinales still stuck down in 15th place. What did he say yesterday? How hard it is because he cannot get through on Crutchlow. Aleix Espargaro. Here's the move, the slipstream, the clear air. Full of Anthony Rossi on the outside. There was nothing Rossi could do. Couldn't turn in. Quartararo snatches that 2nd place.
Here's Polisbarger then. Alex Rins just up behind him. Danilo Petrucci then following.
Well, find a way through. We know the KTM's got such great acceleration. It's hard. How hard did Fabio Quartararo find? Good on the brakes and then using the engine and the acceleration to come off the corners and keep Quartararo at bay for such a long time.
6-0. Jack Miller also slightly quicker than Valentino Rossi. Rins is up into 6th place.
Yeah, now what can he do with some clear track in front of Alex Rins to get himself back into contention when the lap times are so close as well? That's probably already too late for Rins.
He chases down his teammate. You can see the mirror there looking back to Valentino Rossi.
Ducati inadvertently shooting themselves in the foot.
Braking hard into turn 10. Number 21, Franco Morbidelli on that A-spec.
Pace of that top 4 is getting dropped here, Joan Mir.
I don't think it's a problem at this stage. I mean, you're right, absolutely. It's gone to the machines. I'd be really surprised if Mir doesn't play a big part in the latter stages of this. But to Jack Miller up ahead, here comes Quartararo. Is he thinking about the move into turn 1? Not this time.
Yeah, half a second slower track ahead of him. Got down into some serious rhythm. 6/10 quicker than Polisbarger on that last lap. So
12 points the lead would be for Quartararo heading into France. If he can get past Franco Morbidelli into turn 5, he stays put.
Looking for a dream Petronas Yamaha SRT 1-2 here with his future man Valentino Rossi still in. Franco Morbidelli looking back to Fabio Quartararo. Great shot that as they hit the brakes for turn 10.
But Valentino Rossi still well in touch though, just behind, not losing too much time. Miller as well, having a great up ahead of him. Here comes, look at the drive through 13 that Fabio Quartararo's got, and out of 40. Franco Morbidelli, you bet he is, across the line. Is this the moment where Fabio Quartararo pounces?
Does he feel like he's got the pace to break away here now? Gap Rossi, gap Quartararo drop off in the second half of the race.
Oh, the rear spinning up a bit there from Fabio Quartararo. You don't want to burn it up too soon.
From the 2 Yamahas behind him.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because as a rider like Franco, that rear tyre smoking a bit from Fabio. They're all aware.
Yeah, it's going to be who can manage it the best, that's for sure. Even in these cool conditions, the rear tyres going to
seems to have run into some trouble already. He's dropped down to 8th now. Danilo Petrucci's got through. He's into 7th. So Brad Binder in 9th, who's got through on Pecco Bagnaia.
Yeah, there was a poor last lap from Alex Rins as well.
From Fabio Quartararo. Across the line we go. It's a 40.142 from Fabio Morbidelli and Valentino Rossi.
Indeed. Head down, hammer down from Quartararo, that's for sure. Here, enraging between the likes of, well, Rins, Petrucci, Polisbarger, Binder.
They'll be weighing up everything, won't they, the factory guys at the moment. Maverick 15th place still.
Yeah, Yeah, this has been a humbling day for Maverick Vinales. What a dent this is in his championship chase. You cannot afford to have these kind of days.
It's Taka Nakagami at the moment. Bargaro's just dropped back a couple of places. He's in 13th here, up ahead of Cal Crutchlow.
Good fight this, and there's some important World Championship points at stake as well. You look at
looking up on the top left of the screen as Fabio Quartararo comes round the final corner. What sort of lap was Franco Morbidelli? He's just set his fastest lap of the race and equaling that. Valentino Rossi in third.
Petrucci into the first corner through turn 2, where Petrucci had a moment, and then it all was
lap 10 then. A couple of people in the paddock warning. It's also this time of the day, Matt, where we get quite a big drop in track temperature.
I was just about to say 147 last time for him. He's about 3 or 4 tenths away.
Change out front, 3 tenths between Fabio and Morbidelli, 5 tenths between Morbidelli and Rossi.
Through that fast turn 9. Vinales has got nothing for these two men ahead of him though. Cal Crutchlow doing an absolutely amazing.
Vinales is lapping in the 141.3. He was doing 40s for fun. Petronas Yamaha SRT riders starting to break Valentino Rossi across the line.
They were both quick slower on that last lap, and he's now gone over a second behind Valentino Rossi.
Is it a clever ploy from stages to allow Rossi to just drift back a couple of tenths but then give him that edge at the end? Or is it because leader Andrea Dovizioso out at turn 2 along with Johann Zarco and Petrucci set it all off? Not deliberately, not maliciously. He's 7th.
Rossi just about hanging in there with the two Petronas Yamaha SRT boys ahead. 0.4 for the first time his lead over 3 tenths per second, although Morbidelli's strong on the brakes into turn 10 is owner.
Yeah, definitely closer, isn't he? Round turn 12 into 13.
Those first 2 wins in Jerez he just cleared off, checked out and won by a big buffer. It was never a different story altogether, a completely different ball game. This is a victory. He's going to have to survive.
Tenths on that last lap. The fastest rider on that last lap was Alex Rins in 6th. Is that a rider who's gone down? Some disaster for pole here.
Off goes the walk of shame.
Just through on Danilo turn 1.
That's how much you've got to push right on the limit to pass it.
What a shame for Pol Espargaro. A stomp back through the gravel trap. Meanwhile, out front, Tararo and Morbidelli in the background there. You can see Miller in 4th and Mir in 5th. Mir's being caught at this.
Ahead of him, the virtual fan wall. There'll be a few Fabio Quartararo fans there from those 28 Nate. Well, we're at half race distance, so there's still a long, long way to go in this race. And a bit loose and lively on his soft Michelin rear tyre. Miller's being swallowed up here by Mir. Now that could be it. Big moment then on the front end for Franco Morbidelli into turn 1. We just saw Pol Espargaro.
They're all getting warnings now. This is the... Oh, bloody God. Goodness me. He's... incredible. Oh, vicious that was.
That snapped on him big style. And the process almost went down for the second time.
Well, he's now 1.2 down on Rossi, who inherits 2nd place. There's no... Joan Mir can keep in those 140s with soft... The gap now between Quartararo and Rossi out front, just to keep you posted, is 6th.
Some riders yesterday said that this will be a battle of survival because of how the tyres will drop off in the second half of the race. Jack Miller doing everything he possibly can to keep Joan Mir at bay. Look at
cat he is on the start-finish straight.
Because he didn't get the best drive, did he, at the final corner? But as soon as he behind him...
This is where the Suzuki will start coming into... It's Joan Mir, can he lunge up the inside into turn 5 perhaps? Not close enough on this occasion. That's Franco Morbidelli just up the road as well in 3rd place. The gap at the front between Quartararo.
Looks like this might be a decisive phase of the race for him, because he's taken a couple of tenths out of Rossi in rear tyre performance.
Still so much time left in this race though for things to change.
You think it's going to be pretty hard, big tyre problems or making a mistake himself.
Taka Nakagami's gone on a bit of a charge the last
time for Maverick Vinales fans, I'm afraid to say, still circulating in a very lowly 14th place at the moment.
Miller holding on. Oh, who's gone down? Someone has gone down. We hold our breaths, it's Rossi!
Staying in the garage.
Valentino Rossi's hopes of victory and the 200th podium on lap 16.
There's not many times in Valentino Rossi's illustrious career that he's crashed. Just to manage his pace now, it's a pretty forlorn figure there then Valentino Rossi as he inspects the damage of that factory.
Breaking into turn one.
Is there that significant drop in temperature now? The wind's picked up yet again. They can't then down and out for the second time in 7 days.
Is up to third. He's dispatched.
Yeah, that was coming, wasn't it?
And this time in a race where you always keep your eyes on Joan Mir, and we'll keep our eyes on his times as he goes.
Alex Rins knows that there's a fourth place beckoning for him as well here. Mir got, was it no, Miller just made the mistake and got in hot. No rear grip. Couldn't get it pulled down, not able to.
Huge credit further back to Petrucci, Bagnaia and Nakagami. Surely he's got this one in the bag now, Fabio Quartararo. He doesn't need to do anything.
Scared. He knows that it's foolish to throw away 20 precious World Championship points having
need a spot up. He's up into 12th place ahead of Aleix Espargaro, but damage being done in the world. Rossi dejected,
you can see
gutted. He knows how much of an opportunity that was.
It's a mammoth blow to his championship charge. That's going to be a tough one to recover from. Back-to-back DNFs.
Fastest man on the circuit for the last 3 laps, Danilo, although Bagnaia's battling away again. This is the best we've seen of Danilo all season long.
Oliveira, their best challenger, he's 9th, having a good battle with his future teammate Brad Binder between Bagnaia, Petrucci and Nakagami.
Nakagami closing on the tail there of Danilo Petrucci, on for another top 10. Vinales is now,
because he's now within striking distance of Franco Morbidelli. A case of what might have been then for Valentino Rossi. GP start, the wait for 200 Premier Class podiums, well that rolls on now until Le Mans in a couple.
Nakagami just up ahead of these guys. Rins in 5th, Miller in 4th. Chance of winning a race for a while. It might take a while to get over that one. There was no warning. What
treacherous turn 2. Look what the fans on the virtual wall made of it. Oh dear, careful, steady on. There's a few of them getting it. I wonder whether that was a tyre wear problem and a tyre temperature issue as well, Steve. You can just see head in hand gutted. He knows there was a podium there for the taking. Potentially he wasn't going to have the speed to match this. Number 4 now for Iker Lecuona this weekend.
They're running into problems now, Matt. This is a time.
I was going to say that's
championship
turn 2 again.
Over.
Turn 2. The left-handers now are critical, absolutely critical, because the tyre. I think we've seen the last of the fallers there because it's absolutely critical now. The temperature on a knife edge.
Alex Rins to say, because no one had him anywhere near a podium in terms of predictions. He's tried so hard to. Pecco Bagnaia's done a great job as well. From 14th on the grid, he's up into 6th. Franco Morbidelli, Joan Mir is still slightly faster than Morbidelli, but there's just
got to within 0.6 of a second of Morbidelli. That's where he stayed put since then. Davide Brivio, Team Suzuki for a double top 5. They're on course for a first podium here in Barcelona in 20 years.
18th on the grid, Alex Rins was. So often he does this on a Sunday, keeping the tyres, the Suzuki, as is Alex Rins in general with his riding style.
Jack Miller trying to make that Ducati about 25 feet wide, isn't he, at the moment, just to try and keep Alex Rins at back. The job done. He'll just park it in the middle of the corner, make sure there's no way back through for the Aussie.
3rd and 4th for Suzuki. Interesting. Across the line we go with 4 laps now to go. 0.3 of a second Morbidelli was quicker now.
Yeah, and Quartararo, of course, he can back out of it a little bit with such a commanding lead, but you can't rob now Fabio Quartararo. Don't think he will do, to be honest. Hope that's not the commentator curse though.
Yeah, Mir's been told to switch names. Fabio Quartararo, who was lapping in the low 140s at the start of this race, is 2 seconds slow.
In the modern MotoGP era as well, since 2002, that's had 3 successive podium finishes. That's where
he pretty much half a second, 0.6 a lap. No replay of the race leader. He would love so much to get himself back to the top. Diego Gubellini is crew chief at the moment, praying for the checkered flag to come out right now.
Andre Dovizioso down and out at the second corner. Maverick Vinales just nowhere. Just got himself into this 2020 MotoGP World Championship battle.
Joan Mir is 0.7 of a second quicker than Fabio. And don't forget, as things stand, he moves into second place overall in this World Championship, so he needs all the damage to him.
Quartararo and Morbidelli then both in the 42s on that last circuit. Mir much quicker.
To mapping 3, I was waiting to see if he'd go slower or faster, and it looks to me like they've worked.
Is it too little too late? Is it going to work out perfectly? Thanks for that, Simon. He's got to run into a bit of trouble later on in this race as well. He's just fallen behind Cal Crutchlow and Maverick Vinales.
2 seconds, which is not something you see very often in MotoGP.
But nowhere near enough for it to be a concern. 2.4 seconds is lead here at the moment over Franco Morbidelli that we're looking. Joan Mir then charging through, surely into second place. Through goes Mir into second place with 2 laps to go.
There could be late heartache coming here for Franco Morbidelli because speed at this stage of the race. The Suzukis, we know how much they nurse their tyres, tyre durability.
On board with Joan Mir in second place. There's your race leader, the Petronas Yamaha SRT man, Fabio Quartararo. Or will Alex Rins come through to what would be, let's be honest, a fantastic podium?
You can see Mir, he's just instantly gapped away from the Italian behind him. Franco Morbidelli's just got nothing left in that rear.
From Alex Rins. He's having a look. Up the inside he goes then. Franco Morbidelli.
Can you believe it? Well, we thought there was going to be some chopping and changing. The Suzuki team, well, 2007, John Hopkins and Chris Vermeulen. Well, that run could be poised to come to an end. We're on the last lap shortly.
It's 1.9 in the bag for Fabio Quartararo. Joan Mir and Alex Rins, personal there. Pecco Bagnaia gone through on Jack Miller. Just behind them. That one much. Nakagami here might just fancy 5th place.
Franco Morbidelli on that last lap did a 4. He was a second slower than Alex Rins. He might just about hold on to that 4.
In this Barcelona clash, there's been some distance back to his best. An outstanding job done by Fabio Quartararo. He has a look over his shoulder. He sees
the virtual fan wall. They're all roaring around the world. It's been for the second half of the race.
The checkered flag is ready here in Barcelona. He won his first ever Grand Prix here 2 years ago. To his best, he's on top of the championship again. Fabio fires up once more and wins here. The 2 Pramac Ducatis, Miller managed to fend off Pecco Bagnaia for 5th place. Good job from the pair of them. In the end, he managed to get past Crutchlow on the last lap.
Classy Quartararo in Catalunya. He's Vic.
Yeah, it's a great race. I know for the public maybe it's a bit funny. One guy, you know, we knew it didn't last until the end, but you need to control it, and I think the both did a great job.
Fabio, because his back's been up against the wall, and he would not have liked the comments made by Marquez either in the approach to this
class podium in 13 years. John Hopkins and Chris Vermeulen way back in 2007 at Mercedes, and as did Alex Rins. 2 Suzukis then on the podium here in Barcelona behind Fabio.